All right, think about it. You click, you scroll, you watch videos. We're on websites all day long. But have you ever stopped to wonder, what is actually holding all of this stuff together? I mean, seriously, how does your browser, Chrome, Safari, whatever you use, know what to show you? It's not magic, right? Well, the answer starts with this thing called HTML. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and show you exactly what that is and how it works. Okay, so let's start with the web's hidden skeleton. Yeah, you heard that right, a skeleton. It's this invisible framework that literally every single website you've ever visited is built on. So what even is HTML? Well, the full name is HyperText Markup Language. It's basically the standard language for creating web pages. Now, to really get what that means, let's use an analogy, because that makes everything easier. I want you to think of HTML as the skeleton of a website. Seriously. Just like your skeleton holds all your bits and pieces together, HTML provides that basic, fundamental structure that holds all the content. The text, the images, all of it. It's the invisible framework that gives a web page its shape before any of the pretty stuff gets added. Okay, so if HTML is just the skeleton, how does a website actually come to life? Well, let's switch analogies for a second here. Think about building a house. When you build a house, you don't start by picking out throw pillows, right? No way. You start with the frame, the raw structure. That's HTML. Then, once the frame is up, you add the design, the drywall, the paint colors, the flooring. In the web world, that's a different language called CSS. And finally, you make it functional. You add the electricity, the plumbing, so you can actually do things. That's JavaScript. So you've got these 3 layers, and each one has a very specific job. And this is super important. HTML has one job. Just one. Structure. All the cool designs, the eye-catching fonts, the slick animations, that's all handled by those other guys, CSS and JavaScript. HTML is just the quiet, absolutely essential foundation. So the big question is, how does HTML actually create that structure? It does it with a really simple but incredibly powerful system of instructions. And these instructions are called tags. Basically, HTML uses these tags to tell the browser what kind of content it's looking at. A tag is like a little note that says, hey browser, this chunk of text is a major heading, or this part right here, that's a paragraph. These tags are what create everything you see: headings, paragraphs, images, links, you name it. And look, this sounds technical, but the concept is actually super simple. The absolute best way to understand tags is to think of them like labels on boxes. Imagine you're in a giant warehouse full of boxes. You don't have to open every single one to know what's inside, right? You just read the label. This box says books. Boom, you know what's in there. An HTML tag does the exact same thing for your browser. And this box over here, it says electronics. Totally different content, maybe you handle it a bit more carefully. That is exactly how tags work. They're just simple, clear labels that tell the browser what kind of content it's dealing with so it knows how to display it. Okay, analogies are great. They help us get the idea. But what does this stuff actually look like in the real world? Let's take a look at some actual code and see how it becomes a web page. All right, here is a super simple piece of HTML code. See those things inside the little angle brackets? Those are the tags. Those are the labels on the boxes we were just talking about. Let's zoom in a little. That first one, the H1 tag, that tells the browser, hey, the text inside here, my first heading, is the most important, top-level heading on this page. It's the main title. And then there's the P tag. You can probably guess this one. P is for paragraph. This tag tells the browser, okay, this next bit of text is just a standard paragraph. See, it defines it as a block of text, completely separate from a heading or an image or anything else. Every tag has a very specific structural job to do. So let's put this into a context you see every day, like a blog page. The big title at the top of the article, that's a heading tag. All the text you're reading, you guessed it, paragraph tags. The pictures embedded in the article use image tags, and the links you click to go somewhere else, those use something called anchor tags. It's really all just a combination of these simple labels building a logical structure. And all of this brings us to a really important idea. People sometimes get this wrong, but HTML isn't really a programming language in the way you might think. It's what's known as a markup language. And why is it called that? Well, because it literally marks up the content. It uses those tags we talked about to describe the structure of the content, not the design. Its job is all about organization and giving the content meaning. It could care less about how pretty things look.
So what's the big takeaway here? It's actually really simple. Every single website you have ever been on has HTML at its very core. It's the foundation. Without it, the internet as we know it just flat out wouldn't exist. It really is the unsung hero of our digital world.
So, there you have it. Now you know all about the web's skeleton. The question is, what's next? Remember that house analogy? Do you want to learn about CSS, the stuff that makes websites look good? Or maybe JavaScript, the thing that adds all the interactivity? Let us know what coding topic you want us to break down next.